of the Colorado River Water Users Association. Our first item of business today is to consider our resolutions. And at this time, I would like to invite our Resolutions Committee Chairman, Wade Noble, to come forward to present them.
Thank you, Bart, and we will miss you. But Jim, we will look forward to working with you. The process for the resolutions at the Colorado River Water Users Association is that the Resolutions Committee considers each year resolutions to be proposed for adoption. After consideration and determination, the Resolution Committee then forwards those resolutions with a recommendation that they be adopted to the Board of Trustees and the state caucuses. Upon approval by both the state caucuses and the Board of Trustees, the resolutions are then brought to the floor in this business meeting. So, the state caucuses and the Board of Trustees have approved the resolutions, and it is proposed that the association approve the resolutions at this time. Those in favor of adopting the resolutions, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. Okay, if anybody wants to vote nay, we have a couple of off-duty pit bosses out in back that'd like to speak with you. Thank you so much, and have a happy new year. May it be prosperous, but most of all, may it be wet, so wet that you almost drown.
Thank you very much, Wade. Next item on our agenda is I would like to report out the results of our caucus elections yesterday morning. In Arizona, Elston Grubaugh was elected as a new trustee, replacing Tim Cook for Arizona. In Nevada, John Ensminger was elected, replacing Ken Albright. In New Mexico, Jim Dunlap was elected, replacing Mike Green. And in the 10 Tribes Partnership, Russell Begay, Leland Begay, and Tim Williams were elected, replacing Lorelei Cloud, Jason John, and T.J. LaFoon. All other trustees were re-elected, and thanks to the outgoing trustees for their service to the association and for their dedication in moving us forward. The next item of business is to consider the slate of officers as put forth by our Nominations Committee, which was also voted on and approved by our Board of Trustees on Wednesday. For consideration by you, the membership, as President, Jim Broderick from Colorado, as Vice President, John Ensminger from Nevada, as Secretary Treasurer, Lee Miller from Colorado, and as Assistant Secretary Treasurer, our lead staff and guide through this conference, Mitch Bishop of Nevada. So those are all in nomination, and all in favor, please signify by saying yes. Yes. And sounds unanimous to me, so we consider them elected. Thank you very much. And at this time, I would like to invite our new president-elect, Jim Broderick, to come forward and say a few words.
Well, thank you very much. It's my honor and privilege to serve as president for the Colorado River Water Users Association. When we were having the discussions about doing this earlier in the week, Bart had this smile that went from here to here. And as the week went, it got longer and longer and bigger. And I was starting to get worried. And he said, don't be too nervous. You've got a great team behind you, and they'll do a lot of work for you and all that. So I believe that we will move forward and continue to be taking on the challenges and opportunity that Bart started, and we'll continue to move forward. The biggest thing I can hope from all of you is that for the next, couple of months, wish for snow. If we can accomplish that, I've done a very good thing for all of us. If we can help and when I say we, the Board of Trustees and the committees, can help the membership, please don't hesitate to come and talk to us. We are here as volunteers to help the association move forward as a whole Colorado Basin, just not parts and pieces. And so I look forward to having the honor to be president for the next 2 years. Thank you very much. I want you to watch this smile. It's getting bigger. Bart, come on up here, and I want to, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the committee chairs and the membership, thank you for an outstanding job that you've done. You've made everybody welcome. You made everybody part of the process, and there is discussion going on. So on behalf of all those, I'd like to present this to you of our appreciation and thanks. And we're not letting you leave, but thank you very much. And then I also have a little bag here that's a little leather bag for you as our gift, and thank you. And
Well, thank you, Jim, and quite unexpected, I might say. So thank you for everything, and we look forward to your leadership turn with Colorado. There is no further business on our agenda, so I will hereby declare our business meeting adjourned. And as I mentioned during my opening comments, we have 2 celebrations today, and we're going to move right into the first celebration, which is the Salt River Project Centennial Anniversary with the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation. And it's my distinct pleasure to introduce David Rousseau, who's president of the Salt River Project. David comes from a farm family in Phoenix. He and I are kindred spirits, and it's a pleasure to welcome him to speak to CRWUA. Thank you.
I was having the conversation about this morning's program last night with what I thought was a dear friend, and they're like, well, no, I have an early flight, so I'm not going to be there. And it was reminiscent. Early after I became president of Salt River Project, we had the good fortune to celebrate Salt River Project's 100-year anniversary or birthday of Roosevelt Dam. And I had the opportunity as the president to have a special guest, and the governor was going to be there. There was going to be, it involved a helicopter ride, and so I ran that idea or that invitation by my mother, who I was fairly critical to my existence, and her response was interesting. She said, "No, I think I have an eye doctor appointment that day," and so I said, "Well, that's fine. We'll do it the next time." So we are very grateful to Bart and his leadership and CRWUA for allowing us this opportunity to highlight what's been an amazing special partnership with Bureau of Reclamation and Interior all these years. Reclamation obviously is a story about developing the West, and Arizona is central to that, and being awarded the Salt River Project as one of the 5 original reclamation projects in 1902. And then ultimately completed with the construction of Roosevelt Dam in 1911, a year before we were even a state. But I think what's interesting about that is the commitment that it took, and the foresight and the vision. And I, as Bart said, come from a pioneer farming family, as do many of our board and council members that are in attendance and have been supporters of this organization for a long time. But the risk involved and the nexus between our customers and the vision for our company, I think, is born in that relationship and that investment and gamble, frankly, that those pioneer farmers were willing to take in pledging their land as the collateral for the bonds that were issued to build the dam. So again, it's been great. I think Teddy Roosevelt did a lot of things, and one of which was he's very quotable. And there's a quote, the essence of which is, we're given a lot, but we're expected a lot, or a lot is expected of us. And I think that's borne out in the story. We're excited and very prideful of our history, but also very excited about continuing in that vein for this century. So again, thank you all. I think you're gonna get to see the video now, and so thanks for being here. Bye-bye.
Out west, there's a saying which remains true today: is whiskey's for drinking, water's for fighting.
And what the Salt River Project did was have an agreement amongst all parties that prevented fighting from taking place.
A community coming together, pledging its real estate, building a relationship with the federal government and the local government, and it worked. It brought water to the arid valley and made our lifestyle today possible.
In 1917, DOI turned over the dam to SRP, and that set Arizona on a path that is different than it would have been before. Without SRP's leadership and its involvement, we simply wouldn't have the water resources to be the state that we are today.
That provided water to an arid application, a desert of all things. And you see the sprawling aspect of Arizona and Phoenix, the small communities outlying the Phoenix metropolitan area and Tucson. They're the lifeblood of Arizona. And in order to have good businesses and a driving economy, you have to have good water and power. And SRP has been that steward.
This reclamation project provided some consistency and a sustainable resource of water as our state grew.
People forget how key Phoenix and Arizona was to the World War II effort. Many things were moved into Arizona to be produced because they were further away from the coast. But after that, a lot of people decided this is not a bad place to live. They love the weather, they want to continue manufacturing here, but the only way you could really do that is by having stable electricity, and SRP has been very key in that.
First contract with the city of Phoenix in 1952, that was kind of a landmark item in terms of moving that water from an agricultural to municipal use. So it's really served this area well and helped grow our economy. It really, I think, showed potential investors that within Arizona you could be successful investing and have a reliable outcome because you have a reliable water supply.
We've been able to grow our economy in ways no one ever expected, with boundless economic development that wouldn't have been possible without this plan to protect our water services for the future and for today.
Whether it's conservation or land management issues that SRPs have been involved with now, and I just had a discussion recently with the Forest Service and the involvement and the increasing role of SRP in managing appropriately our forests and our watersheds for the future. These are elements that you have to plan for.
With SRP, we're financing important forest conservation projects because the quality of our forests and the quality of water that we receive here locally are one and the same.
And I think SRP's vision is something that carries on from what Theodore Roosevelt had planned for the western and southwestern United States.
What we learned from the original agreement, which by the way is a prototype for much of what should happen in America today, is that it is better when you have this type of public-private partnership to let the private entity really run things, manage things, especially at the local level, because that's what allows them to know what's going on and make it prosperous and successful.
A lot of parties and stakeholders in Arizona, they look to SRP as one of the important voices when we talk about water. In regards to water policy, there are opportunities where we've come together and worked together as well, especially, with SRP's presence in regards to water in the state of Arizona, within the Phoenix metropolitan area as well.
Salt River Project already has created, with some of their city partners, a connection between the Central Arizona Project and the Salt River Project service area. I think really show how the Salt River Project has kind of expanded and adapted itself over the years to helping these other areas become more sustainable from a water resources standpoint.
So you guys have brought billions of dollars into the economy of Arizona in the West. You've been able to save hundreds of thousands of acre-feet of water over the time period.
We couldn't do it without reclamation projects like this. And so it probably set the standard at that time and continues today.
And the fact is, we were able to have an assured water supply for one of the fastest growing places in America.
I think it's a model for the future of how we manage our water in the West. and how we make sure that our management of water incorporates local communities, the state, and all parties.
Good morning. I'm David Palumbo. I'm the Deputy Commissioner for Operations with the Bureau of Reclamation, and I just wanted to say a few words about the relationship with the Salt River Project. Number one, I'm very honored to share the stage with the Salt River Project here and celebrate the 100th year anniversary. In my office in Washington, there's a large mural outside the elevator banks. So every day I get off of the elevator and I see this large mural, and that large mural is of the Salt River Project. It's a beautiful painting, and so I'm reminded every day about that relationship we have with the Salt River Project. And I say to myself that I'm glad it's a good relationship, because it'd be a tough pill to swallow seeing the picture every day going into work. We all know that water is the lifeblood of the West, and relationships are absolutely important for the West to not only survive but thrive. Throughout this conference, we've been reminded many times about relationships and how important they are with tribes, with states, with municipalities, with NGOs. And Salt River Project has really been a model and a leader in establishing those relationships. Both personally and professionally, it's rewarding to me to work with people to solve complex problems. Reclamation, working with the Salt River Project and others is an example of people coming together to solve problems, whether they be related to water, power, or the environment. Throughout my career, I've been continually impressed with the professionalism, passion, and proaction of Salt River Project. It really causes me to be on my toes when an issue arises, because I know very soon after that issue comes about, the phone is going to ring and Salt River Project's going to be ready to work and tackle that. So that proaction is incredible. What's more amazing about the relationship is that it's sustained for 100 years, and certainly Reclamation is looking forward to the next 100 years. So thank you very much. We appreciate everything that you do and the leadership and the model that you provide. Thank you.
Thank you, David Palumbo, and thank you, David Rousseau, and thank you to SRP for that great video, and congratulations on the centennial celebration. That's really quite an accomplishment, and congratulations again. So at this time, we'll take a short break, and we reconvene at 9 o'clock for a further celebration. And the next one will be minute 323 with the Mexican delegation and the U.S. IBWC. So we look forward to reconvening at 9 a.m. Thank you.
So